Right guys, welcome to another Premier League predictions. Now we've missed the last couple of weeks. That is because guests have pulled out or I was ill, so sorry about that. So yeah, last week I took on, or rather last time I took on Kareem. He said he'd overtake Shannon. He didn't. He in fact got 14 points. So in our current leaderboard, he's behind me. I'm still on 15, remaining consistent with that average. But yeah, no real changes. So today I've got Matt, a Bristol Rovers fan. I almost fucked up there, didn't I? Bristol City fan.
Good one from you.
No bite. How are you today, Matt?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Good, yeah, I'm good. Right, so Premier League predictions, you know how it works out by now. 3 points for the correct result, 5 points for the correct score. Yeah, Matt, how do you think you're going to get on looking at this leaderboard?
Well, it's interesting, but you just give it a go, innit? See you do.
Because obviously you're going to want to get more than like single figures, wouldn't you?
Let's just not be bottom of the leaderboard. let's just hope for a good score. So yeah, I won't get I don't have to worry. Finishing bottom.
Yeah. So we start off at half 12 at Craven Cottage. Manchester City are away to Fulham. Manchester City have a chance to catch up to Liverpool, still with a game in hand. I think that Manchester City, they're going to run away with this. I think it's going to be a 3-1 victory for Man City.
I'm going to go with the same result, but I'm going to go with a bit more of a score. I'm going to say 4-1, I think.
Oh, 4-1.
If you look at Fulham's defence, it's, I think, the leakiest in the league. They can see goals for fun. Okay, Parker's come in and they look a little bit better than what they were under Ranieri, but results aren't changing. And when you've got a juggernaut like Man City coming to Craven Cottage, it's going to be hard to stop them. So I think City will coast it 4-1 for me.
Yeah. So next up, we have our 3 o'clock games. We start off at the King Power Stadium. We have Leicester City against Bournemouth. Now, last time, Leicester City won 2-1 in dramatic style against Burnley, while Bournemouth also lost a lead in dramatic style in a 2-2 draw against Newcastle. I think this is actually going to be a very tight affair. Looking at where they are in the table, it's sort of like that same mid-table sort of spot, chasing for 7th, but sort of out of that. I think I can't pick a winner out of this. I'm going to go 2-2.
Well, I mean, obviously, Leicester that have a great record playing Bournemouth. I think it's 7 games they haven't won since obviously they played them in the Premier League, which tells you all you need to know. But there's a little mini league going on for 7th place, isn't there? And I think with Wolves, chasing the FA Cup, maybe
Watford as well.
Exactly, it could sort of take their minds off it a little bit. So this is a good chance for Leicester. For me, I could see a draw. Really could. I think both sides will go for it. Bournemouth play the same way every single week. Leicester, of course, finding their way under Rodgers, so it'll be difficult. But I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw in this one. 2-2
draw, okay. So next up, we have Crystal Palace at home to Huddersfield. Now, Huddersfield, last time they played, lost 4-3 in the 90th minute against West Ham. Great comeback, that. And I think that pretty much sums up Huddersfield's season. I think they're all but relegated at the moment. Bottom of the league, 14 points, not really doing that great. Going to Crystal Palace with a solid squad. Depending on if Zaha turns it on, I think that Crystal Palace are going to win 3-0.
Well, I think Huddersfield, 16 points from 17th place. They are dead and buried, aren't they? Really, it's just a case of when. Playing for pride, aren't they? Damage limitation territory there. So Palace, I can't see them not losing. Huddersfield, yes, they scored 3 against West Ham, but I think Palace are usually quite solid at home. Don't concede a lot. They don't score a lot, to be fair to them.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to go with a 2-0 Palace win.
2-0 Palace win, okay. So next up, we have I think it's a South Coast derby, isn't it? No, yes, it is. Brighton against Southampton. South Coast derby isn't really that bigged up as much as Brighton against Crystal Palace or Southampton against Portsmouth would be. But I think that local pride is probably going to be on the line for this one. Again, both teams battling for relegation. There's only realistically one spot that's left to fight for. With Fulham and Huddersfield basically already down, barely on 20 points yet. I think it's going to be a tight affair, but I think things are going to get interesting at the bottom of the league, so I'm going to go for a 2-1 Southampton win.
I'm going to go with the same scoreline, actually. I really do. I think Obviously, look at the table. I think if Brighton did win the game, you would probably assume they would be safe. 8 points is, 7 games left is still a big difference. So it would mean they'd have to lose at least 3 games. But Southampton, I think they can show that they can play against these big sides and win. Fulham, obviously ended Ranieri's reign. I think last month they won. They've beaten the likes of Huddersfield away from home as well. They have lost a couple of games, but I think away at Brighton they'll fancy their chances, and I could really see Southampton getting a win, as I said.
Definitely. Yeah, so for our penultimate 3 p.m. game on the Saturday, we have Manchester United at home to Watford. I can't really see this going any other way than a Manchester United win. Watford, as we've said, like Wolves, are going to be concentrating on the FA Cup. Obviously, they're going to whoever wins that is going to come up against Manchester City. Big test that, but the chance.
Well, Brighton might beat Man City.
Exactly.
It is the Magic of the Cup.
Exactly. But the chance to be in an FA Cup final, neither of them are really going to turn that down, are they?
No.
So I think Watford are going to start resting players now. They're not going to want to injure too many players so close to a semi-final. So I'm going to go for a standard 3-1 Man United win.
Yeah, I think Manchester United need a reaction. They've lost their last 2 games. Obviously, got dumped out the FA Cup quite miserably at Wolves, who did deserve the win. Against Arsenal, they were off the pace, but that was off the high of PSG, so you can almost let them off of that one. But with Watford, I don't think they're in the position to rest players. I think they've still got a good chance of getting 7th. They want to, obviously, if they don't win the FA Cup, they'll want to get that last spot. So obviously, if you lose in the final now, you don't get that position, don't get the luxury. So they'll be concentrating. They'll play their best team. They've shown they can be tough to beat. But I think United, they'll give a reaction, and I think they'll win. I'm going to go with a 3-1 Man United win, exactly what you said.
Standard. Yeah, so for our final 3 p.m. game on the Saturday, we have Burnley against Wolves at Turf Moor. I think this is actually going to be a bit of a tighter affair than what most fans are saying it to be. I mean, Wolves are having a phenomenal season considering where they were 2, 3, maybe even 5 seasons ago. But yeah, I think Wolves are going to start hitting that sort of snag now, same as Watford, with that FA Cup semi-final so close. I don't think Wolves are going to come away with anything apart from a point, so I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw.
3 in a row, I completely agree with you. I think these are the games with Wolves that they use, that kind of people get question marks over and get a little, sort of think that they can do it against the bigger sides, the so-called passe smaller sides. No disrespect to Burnley, but Wolves, as we know, they're a good team. I think when they play these sort of sides, they have to play a different way. So it'll be interesting to see. But I could just see Burnley getting something at home. Yes, they lost to Leicester last time out. Probably maybe got robbed a little bit. I think they should have had 2 penalties in the game, but I can see Burnley getting a result. When they really, really need to, they can get a good performance against a so-called higher-end team. Beat Tottenham, see last month as well. But I could see it being a 1-1 draw, like you.
Yeah. So for our final Saturday game, we go to the London Stadium, West Ham United against Everton. Now, the London Stadium isn't a place where many teams want to go now, as we haven't lost in 2019. We've still got an unbeaten record. It's gone all the way through hopefully it goes all the way through March. We've only lost 3 games at home all season. I'm definitely starting to think that we're starting to settle in now more than what we was in the first couple of seasons that we was there. Not quite Upton Park standards yet, but I think that definitely Everton will give us a run for our money. They are still our bogey team, despite the fact that we have had quite a good record against them over the last couple of seasons. We've had at least a win every season against Everton for the last 3-4 seasons, something like that. But I think that Everton are, like I said, going to give us a run for our money, and I think we're going to lose our home losing streak, and I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw.
Yeah, I think it's difficult. Obviously, you talk about West Ham being unbeaten in 2019. I think they're starting to get Pellegrini's philosophy across in their play. I think how he wants them to play. So maybe they can still break into the top 7. There's no reason why they can't believe it. I think if they did win it, it would put Everton to bed for their chances, and it'd probably be the same the other way. But I can't see this game. I couldn't see a winner, being really honest. I've just got a feeling that it's going to be a 1-1 1-1 game, which doesn't really help either team, to be honest with you.
Because see, the thing is, we're going to want to take advantage of these two being in the semi-final and then starting to rest players and then form starting to dip. But it's whether they want to do that or whether they want silverware.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's like neither here nor there. Right, so we move on to our Sunday games. 5 minutes past 2, we have Cardiff City against Chelsea. Now, I think Chelsea lost 2-0 against Everton in the last game. Yes, they did. Cardiff are starting to sort of be a bit of a dark horse now, aren't they? They're beating teams at home now, like West Ham, who should really have beaten them. But like 2 points away from safety, I can't really see anything other than Sarri's Chelsea winning, because they're going to want to keep their Champions League hopes alive. I mean, I know it's a 3-point gap, which probably isn't a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, I think Chelsea are going to come away with a win. So I'm going to go 4-0. 4-0 Chelsea win.
I'm going to go 4-1. I think with Cardiff, their home form's going to keep them up, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's as simple as that. They lose, this game isn't going to define their season, is it? It's not by any means. I mean, even if Burnley did beat Wolves on the weekend, it would be 5 points potentially, but they shouldn't have to worry. I'm not sure what their running is, but you would still look at Cardiff and the way they've been this season to pick up one, even maybe two more home wins, which could really give a wake-up call to the teams sort of situated just above them.
Well, Cardiff still have a game in hand, which is against Brighton, and then you look at their run-in, which they've got Manchester City away, so that's going to be a guaranteed loss. Burnley away, which they could get some points.
Yeah.
And then
Liverpool at
home, so juggernauts there. Fulham away, so that's going to be interesting.
That's a must-win.
That's a must-win. Then Palace at home, and then last game of the season, Man United away. So
you do worry for them, but the two games that are going to do it for them are Fulham away and I think Burnley away as well.
Exactly.
That if they lose to Burnley when they play them, I think there is always that curtains. Unfortunately,
there is always that one team who defies expectations and completely dominates those last 7-8 games of the season,
yes, very true,
and wins all those games that they realistically shouldn't be. But when everything's So for our final game, we have Liverpool against Tottenham at Anfield. Now, despite the fact that Liverpool have a game in hand, or rather Manchester City have a game in hand against Liverpool, they have the chance to extend their lead at the top of the table by 2 points again. Yes. Tottenham going there. They know that they are going to be playing at the new White Hart Lane against Crystal Palace in May, is it? Is it April, May?
It's April.
It's
the next game, isn't it?
Yeah. So, steady heads now. So I think that despite that, I think Tottenham will probably put a dent in Liverpool's title race. So I think that it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
Well, let's see in the table. Spurs have only drawn once this season, which is quite a frightening statistic.
Exactly.
They've lost some real silly games recently. Southampton, they lost last time out, I think it was. They lost to Burnley a few weeks ago. So with the way Liverpool are playing, I think they've got this tendency now, Liverpool, they don't have to play well to win, and I think that's such a good trait to have. So for me, I'm going to go with a 2-1 win for Liverpool. I think next week as well, Tottenham have got the Champions League as well against Man City. I think I could be wrong on that, but they'll have their minds on that. The new stadium potentially could be on their minds as well, but exactly. I could just see Liverpool shading it, and Spurs lose that game, they could be in real problems to not to get into the top four, let alone get anything else.
So for our final game, we have Arsenal against Newcastle. Now Arsenal last time they played beat Manchester United 2-0, while Newcastle, as I said before, drew 2-2 in dramatic style against Bournemouth. Yes, I think that Arsenal are going to really walk over Newcastle, especially with Aubameyang and Lacazette. Probably the best partnership in the Premiership this season, and I'm sort of doubting myself saying that because because of like the other strike partners in the Premiership. But I think Lacazette and Aubameyang are clinical, and I think they are going to be clinical against Newcastle. So I'm going to go for a 4-1 Arsenal win.
I'm going to go with an Arsenal victory, but I'm not going to say 4-1. I'm going to say 2-1. I think
2-1. That's tight.
I think, yeah, I really do. I think Newcastle are on a bit of height at the moment. Obviously, last home game they came back against Everton. They got something, obviously, against Bournemouth last game out, which is quite a good result given Bournemouth are, decent at home. They're on a bit of a height at the moment. I think this is probably the best sort of period they've had in the season. Bit of a feel-good factor at the moment. They're quite well adrift at the bottom at the moment, 7 points. They're a team who play the big sides. They tend to try and get the lead early, then camp back. Yeah. Did it against Man City, didn't quite work. Chelsea, they tried the same tactic, but with Arsenal, we know that they're easy to watch. They're good on the eye. They want to pass the ball around. Under Emery, they got Aubameyang and Lacazette, who I wouldn't say they've been the best, obviously, given what Liverpool have had and what Man City have got, but they have been very, very strong. So Newcastle can shut them out, get a clean sheet. They've done absolutely superbly, but I just can't see it. But it'll be closer than I think a lot of people think. So I'm going with 2-1 Arsenal.
Okay. Yep. So those are our predictions, Matt. Considering that we've actually gone quite similar on quite a lot of them, how do you think that they're going to fare for you? Do you think there's going to be any surprises there? Because obviously,
could go against what I said?
Yeah.
The one I'm really thinking actually is Burnley Wolves. I really do. I just maybe think Burnley might get a victory, might sneak it.
It's one of those, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe Bournemouth against Leicester's another one. But I'm quite happy with the predictions. I'm quietly confident. Just got to try and hope I can catch Jonesy or at least get right close to him. If I get high up on the leaderboard, I'm happy.
Yeah. Alright, so that is about it. So we've got about 6 games left, or 5 games after this. So we will have more people on. Sorry about the lack of uploads recently. Uni has been a bit mad. So, I will see you guys in the next video.